You're in a good mood this morning.
Not really. I just hide it well. All right, I'm ready when you are.
Hey friends, this is Melissa Correa. I love telling stories for KHOU 11. I am lucky enough to meet so many interesting people throughout the Houston area, and boy, do I have questions for them. But the thing is, when I cover news of the day, so many of their fun answers, fascinating tidbits, and unique perspectives get left on the cutting room floor. Well, no more. I invite you to listen in on a conversation with Correa.
How about you introduce yourself?
Oh, wait, are we going?
Yeah, we're
We're already
going.
live. Oh, hi, everybody. Art Acevedo. I'm the police chief here in Houston, Texas.
Art Acevedo keeps it real. A peace officer since 1986, he served as the police chief for Austin, Texas, before he became Houston's police chief in December 2016.
If you weren't a cop, what do you think you'd be doing today?
My dream growing up was to graduate from West Point. Had I been a citizen in time, I probably would have gotten into West Point.
He, his two sisters, brother, and parents fled Cuba in 1968. With $5, some clothing, and photos, the Acevedos started over here in the U.S.
We received the greatest gift of all, which is freedom, and I love this country. That's what really has pushed me into public service. You know, it's funny because here in this country, people probably couldn't even spell communism, love calling me a communist, and they have no clue as to just what a patriot I was raised to be and we were raised to be as immigrants.
Would you or have you ever come back to Cuba?
You know, I'm one of those that's still fighting the Cold War. I wake up every morning and, you know, actually we're now fighting the Cold War with the Russians as well, as you pay attention to what's going on around the world. But my father told us that you cannot go back to Cuba. You can't visit Cuba until the communists are gone. We don't want to take our hard-earned American dollars to prop up an illegitimate and murderous and brutal regime. And, you know, Castro was bad and Raul was probably even worse, his brother.
How does all of that help you become a police officer? Do you empathy, compassion? Do you know that if you start at the bottom, no matter how difficult your life is, people, if they have the will, can pull themselves out of it? Where do you go with that perspective?
My dad used to tell us, just remember this, kids, the worst day in the United States, now that we're here, never forget that the worst day in the United States is better than the best day under communist Cuba. So don't ever forget that, and don't be feeling sorry for yourself. If you get knocked down, stand up, pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and move forward again. And he said, and the other thing that he always should tell us, and my mom, was that if you're not afraid to lose, you can't lose, right? And when you come to a country with only $5 and the clothes on your back and some photographs, he said all you're going to take with you when you die is your memories. He says, so just work hard to pay back to this country. And so I think it gave me the mindset that we owe a great debt to the United States of America, and that debt is for the freedom that afforded us. Only in the United States can the son of an African, Kenyan, become president of the United States with Obama, or, an immigrant become the police chief in the 11th largest city in the country in Austin, Texas, go up the chain all the way to chief in the California Patrol, the largest state police agency in the country, one of the biggest police agencies in the country, one of the more storied police agencies in the country, become a chief there, and then become a police chief in the 4th largest, fastest growing, and soon to be the 3rd largest city in the country, which it's just I love this country, and I'll do anything for it.
When you look at how quickly you've accomplished things in 30 years, really, of taking an oath to protect and serve, do you wish you accomplished more? Can you believe you've accomplished what you've done? I mean, where do you sit with that?
I pinch myself almost daily, and I always tell my wife and my kids, it's hard to believe that if you remember your where you started in life, not speaking a word of English, and now you can't get me to shut up. I still can't believe that I'm here. It's like a dream. Sometimes it's a nightmare, but most of the time it's a dream, and I never take it for granted. I do my job. It's kind of interesting that I do my job. I feel like every day is the last day. Like any second now, the rug's going to be pulled from underneath you, and you're going to be doing something else. So I always tell my folks, we need to do our jobs like it's our last day in leadership position and try to do what you can to move the organization forward. And it's really funny because, I'm kind of a media hound, and people think it's because I'm trying to self-promote. They don't understand that the relationship with any organization starts with the leadership, right? And so I feel that the more people know me, know my heart, know my positions, know what I stand for, the better position we are as a department.
Policing Houston is a stressful job, and within weeks of Acevedo becoming chief, officers were shot in the line of duty. Then the Super Bowl came to town. Tom Brady's jersey was stolen. Protests happened. Harvey happened. Sergeant Steve Perez died in those floodwaters. Then the Astros won the World Series, and 1 million people crammed into downtown. And as of today, the city is now cracking down on texting and driving.
Do you ever just want to go in the bathroom and hide? Do you ever just want to turn off your phone, close the blinds, and just not process anything?
You know, it's interesting you say that because, quite frankly, the only time that I kind of shut it down a little bit for part of the day is when I get my RV with my family, with my wife and my little boy, Jake, who, will be 10 in April. And it is truly my therapy. I get behind that diesel pusher, and I feel like I'm the king of the road, and Jake gets in the right front, and he's shotgun while mom is, reading the internet or whatever, and, we pretend like we're in the USS Enterprise, and he's the captain, and I'm just, the ensign's driving it, and shields up, and we play these games. It's the only time I shut it down for part of the day. But, I always feel that I'm a person of faith, so I think God puts you where he needs you. And my wife always says, you're never truly happy unless you're in a fight or unless you are being challenged. And
let's talk about your wife.
Yeah.
What is her name? How long have you been married?
Oh,
How'd you
Lord.
Meet her?
Her name's Tanya. I met her in 1998 and at a party, and this cute blonde girl came in. I was actually I was supposed to meet a friend of hers. I was being set up with her friend.
Isn't that the way
By
it
a buddy.
always goes?
Yeah. And her friend just, she walked in. I said hi, but I just saw this cute little blonde come in, and she went straight for the food table. I go, holy, that's my kind of girl, likes to eat. And so she was cutting ham, and I said, here's my opportunity. Dun dun dun. May I help you cut that ham? She goes, do I look like I need help? And I said, all right, this is it. And then she went home that day, and I guess told her dad that night, hey, I think I met the guy I'm going to marry. And boy, she didn't give up until she hijacked me.
So she knows she's speaking from truth when she says you have to be in a fight all the time.
Oh yeah, she knows me. And
How did you know do you remember when you knew you loved her? When you
oh
had to
God,
marry her?
George. Well, when she said yes, finally she said no the first time. So
She did?
Yeah.
How many times did you ask her?
Just two.
Legit proposals?
You don't
like
get
you got on the knee both times?
Yeah, sure. The second time when she said yes, it was at the Santa Monica Pier at the top of the Ferris wheel. I told the guy, hey, I'm going to propose to my girl here. Here's $20. I said, I'll give you $20, but not till I get down here to make sure he actually did it. I want you to stop the Ferris wheel right on top, right, until so I can do this. And he sure did. And so at the end of the Santa Monica Pier one night with beautiful lights all around us, that's when I proposed. And I guess she couldn't say no that day. And it cost me $20, by the way. I did pay the guy on the way back down.
More nervous on that night or in any other police situation, in theory?
I wasn't nervous. I mean, how can you say no at the top of the Ferris wheel at Santa Monica Pier? Have you been to Santa Monica Pier?
I have not.
It's a beautiful place, a lot of fun. It's iconic Ferris wheel. I think that to me, the most nervous I've ever been is when I'm a father of three. So when the kids are being born, that's when you're most nervous during the pregnancy, and then when they're born, you count the fingers, you count the toes, you make sure all the limbs are there, and then you thank God that He gave you a beautiful baby child to raise and nurture.
I feel like you and I bonded the first time I met you. You will not remember this because I feel like you are Santa Claus and you meet millions of people a day. But I said, hi, I'm Melissa with KHOU 11. And you said, Melissa, that's my daughter's
Yes,
name. I won't
remember
forget that. How old is she?
Melissa is going to be 30 in October.
Is she single or married?
No, she's married. She's married to a woman, a beautiful woman that I actually gave her away. I think it was last year. I mean, time is flying by. In Arizona, in a beautiful wedding, and just a great kid, smart as heck, but tough. I mean, girls are tough to raise. Let me tell you, when she, I was Prince Charming growing up. I was Aladdin. I was all these things. Then she turned 16. Like, who the heck are you? Type of deal. I'm like, what have you done with my child, devil child? And thank God for the dads out there listening that have those daughters right there that, at some go through that phase. Just know they do come back.
They do.
Yes, don't give up. They'll come
They're
back.
tough. It's tough parenting a teenage girl.
Give me a boy any day of the week. I mean, my boy's like, hey, what do you want to eat, guys? Hey, I don't know, Dad. Whatever you want to eat. What do you want to do? Whatever you want to do, Dad. Now, with girls, oh, Lord, you get her a blouse, you got to get her some, skirt. You get her a skirt, you got to get her some shoes, But I love it. I mean, she's a great kid.
Did you cry when you gave her away?
Oh my, yes. I mean, it's tough, man. I mean, it's just it's your baby, right? And so you always cry, and because she's gone. I mean, she's on her own now, and then she lives in Arizona, so it's hard with both of our schedules to see each other. And then my middle one's and her name is Melissa Ann, by the way, and I named her.
So is my name.
Melissa Ann?
Yeah.
With or without an E?
With an E.
Bam, that's her. I named her Melissa Ann. The Ann came from my second grade girl I had a crush on.
Oh.
And she was beautiful.
You never forgot her, clearly.
I knew it second grade. This girl was beautiful. And then my middle kid is a really sweet kid by the name of Matthew Alexander. Matthew is a gift of God, Alexander, leader of men. And I remember that we were told that we should probably end that pregnancy because of some medical issues, and I put my faith in God. And I remember telling his mom, you know what, who are we to judge quality of life? Let's put our faith in God. And Cubans, we're very superstitious, we're very religious in a lot of sense, and I made, so I was making promises to God, right? And I said, God, you give me a healthy baby, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, I promise you to make that child a testament to faith, right? And I will tell a story about Matthew and how the doctor told us to, hey, you're a young couple, don't worry about it, just go ahead and terminate the pregnancy. And so listen, the doctor, we put our faith in you, and you give us a healthy boy. And this little guy, he's 25. He is just, he's a special young man, just the sweetest kid. Graduated from San Diego State and pursuing his dream to be a thespian. He thinks he's a comedian. He thinks he's funny because
I don't know where he'd get it from.
I don't know either. But kid's great. By the way, if you're listening to this, make sure you follow him on Twitter.
There we go. What's his handle?
Shy Guy Express. Shy Guy Express. Shy Guy Express.
At Shy Guy Express. I feel like you've included him in some of your tweets.
I have.
How old are you, Chief?
I'm a millennial. I'm 32. I'm 53.
You're 53. You have 49.5 thousand followers on Twitter as of today. You talk about your son being on social media. I swear you do not sleep. Based on your Twitter feed, you were tweeting at all hours of the day. You talk about your wife looking on the internet when you're in the RV. How important, or let's get real, how obsessed are you with social media?
Well, I mean, social media is really, I like to say it's the cause of the radicalization of our nation. I mean, there's so many lies. I mean, there's bots. There's, now I don't know what's real or not. So if somebody's just being I'll tell you right now, it is my personal account. It's my own opinions. And the truth of the matter is, if you're going to be nasty to me, I'm just going to block you.
However, I will say, words are powerful, right? Mm-hmm. They can inspire, they can educate, they can inform, and they can hurt. Mm-hmm. And I'll be honest, sometimes when people say nasty things to me on Facebook or Twitter.
Who did that?
Let's arrest them right now. That should be a charge.
Yes. They're lucky I'm not your dad. I'd be coming after them.
Listen, Melissa Ann, just scratch Correa for Acevedo. It hurts and it stings, and I have to literally take a step back because I want to just attack him. That's never happened to you.
Oh, yeah, I've gotten in a couple of fights here and there just to have fun. There was I mean, look, but I've learned that you're better off just muting them, blocking them, and moving on with your day because they're just cowards. We've lost the art of disagreeing without becoming disagreeable in this country. It's interesting the vile stuff that somebody will say to me on Twitter. Then I go look at their bio. Oh, follower of Jesus. Really? I don't think so. I think you're more like a follower of Satan because that is not the way Jesus wants you to treat people and talk to people. It's amazing to me just how vile people can be on Twitter. And so I've learned to just follow the teachings of Christ and turn the other cheek.
Let's do some quick questions before we wrap up then.
Okay.
Austin or Houston?
Houston.
Hamburgers or hot dogs?
Burgers with cheese. Must be with cheese.
Altuve or Correa?
Altuve.
Ooh, flip-flops or tennis shoes?
Flip-flops, baby. All the way. I have Fred Flintstone feet, and I love showing them off.
What's one thing you wish you could have done differently in the last year?
Oh, God. The one thing I wish I would have done differently would have been to put our entire department on 24-hour shifts on right when Harvey hit. And that's because, you kind of question yourself, would Steve still be alive had we made everybody stay on day 1 instead of on day 2? That's Steve Perez.
You carry that with you.
A little bit. Yeah, I think we all do. All of us do.
Rain or ice?
I'll take rain over ice any day.
Really?
Oh, gosh, yes. Especially when you're in your RV and you can hear the sound of the rain. As a kid, I used to put a can outside my window to hear the drip, 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 and I'd sleep like a baby.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
Oh, 10, 12.
What?
No, I'm kidding. Enough sleep.
Like 3?
A little bit more. I mean, I get up middle of the night a lot. I'll do emails middle of the night. People have learned not to turn off their Twitter feed or their email feed because I've been accused of waking people up at night.
Do you collect anything?
Do I collect anything? Oh, that's a good question. What do I collect? I like memorabilia from my career, especially if there's kids involved. Like, any pictures with kids. I love stuff with kids.
Do you have any tattoos?
No, my mama, may she rest in peace, told me if I ever got a tattoo, she'd break a 2x4 over my head, and I believe that crazy old woman. And I remember one night many years ago in East LA where I was an officer, a sergeant, and the captain commander of the East LA station. We were young. I was a young sergeant. A bunch of us went to an off-training party, and when the party ended, we all decided we're going to go get our mascot was Speedy Gonzalez, East LA, right? 535, East LA for life. We're going to go get tattoos. Thank God the tattoo place was closed because that was the one time I was going to defy Mama, and she would not have been a happy
You
camper.
could have had a Speedy Gonzalez tramp stamp today.
Hey, tramp stamp. And, Speedy Gonzalez, I would put it on my belly, and it would have been a little Speedy Gonzalez, and by now, as the belly grew, he'd be like a 6-foot-tall Speedy Gonzalez.
That's a wrap on this conversation. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to be a part of more conversations with Correa, don't forget to rate and subscribe to this podcast. Be safe.